Hi there. Well, here we are back in Leicestershire, England, having just spent a weekend down in London doing the cancer workshop that we talked about and advertised, and it all went quite well. We had about 68 people, and I put out something on Facebook yesterday when we got back and sent out a little newsletter, and I got a response from a lady in Ireland whose name is Bernadette. And I'd like to read you what she said because it gives me a chance to make a couple of points here. So, what she said was, "You sound very resentful. Resentment is just oozing from your writing. I can understand why, but maybe you need to do some work on your resentment towards your own country and its people. I agree with what you're saying, but perhaps there is a need for forgiveness." Well, Bernadette, yes, of course, you are absolutely right. And I thank you for bringing this to my attention, but you're not the only one to have done so, believe me. And I'm always telling myself that forgiveness is required whenever I get upset about anything. And this is no exception to that rule. So I do appreciate you writing. But let me tell you something. In order to transform anything, any emotion, you first have to feel it. And by that, I don't mean analyze it, think about it, and talk about it in that way. I mean really, really feel it. Fully. Because, you know, the fact is, you can't heal what you don't feel. But, you know, Bernadette, resentment is not the right word. You're wrong about that. I don't feel resentment about any of that at all. It's quite different. But before I go on to explain what my real feelings are about it, let me tell you what I am resentful about. I resent the implication, and you're not the first to imply it, believe me, that as Mr. Radical Forgiveness, or a teacher of radical forgiveness, that I am not entitled to my feelings. And that furthermore, I shouldn't express them freely, especially in public. You say in your letter too that I should do some work on resentment, and you're absolutely right in that sense. But here's the deal. The work is to feel the feelings. That's exactly where the work lies. At least it's the first step, and without you do that first step, you go nowhere. You stay stuck in your head, and that's the worst possible place to be as far as healing is concerned. Healing doesn't happen through thinking. Healing happens right here in the heart, but it has to be open. Now let me come back to what my true feelings are about what I see as the infantile English approach to dealing with emotions, which is basically to stuff them, deny them, or project them onto other people. Yes, Bernadette, I do have strong feelings about this, as I said, but the main feeling is profound sadness, not resentment, sadness. From the spiritual perspective, I know that everything is all perfect, but as a human being, I'm very sad. Not angry or resentful, sad. I'm sad that people are needlessly plowing through life full of unresolved pain over things that happened to them in the past or are happening to them now, and they have no idea how to release them. They're not even aware that they really do need to find a way to let it go in order to be happy and healthy. They just simply don't see the connection. It makes me sad that the many thousands of children who are sexually abused every day suffer at the hands of people who were themselves sexually abused and who never dealt with the pain. So for the want of some emotional healing, the abused go on becoming abusers themselves, and so it gets perpetuated from one generation to another, all for the want of some simple emotional healing. That's what makes me sad. It makes me sad too that 1 in 5 people get cancer that could have been avoided if they had just done some simple work with radical forgiveness. Repressed anger, resentment, grief, and other pain resulting from trauma is known to be a major cause of cancer. How people handle their emotions is one of the 2 proven predictors of cancer, according to the research. The only other predictor is whether you have the cancer gene or not. It's very sad that many people die simply for the want of some emotional detoxification and some coaching on how to deal intelligently with their emotions in daily life. You know, it makes me sad too that so many relationships fail because people don't understand that the purpose of relationships is for us to help each other heal and grow by bringing up all that unresolved and repressed emotional energy that they each have buried. Not knowing this and being unwilling to discover what is really upsetting them, love turns to hate, the divorce lawyers get rich, and the children suffer. Now, I could go on. There's lots more. But let me tell you this. I've lived outside of the UK for 26 years. So the idea that the prophet in his own land is never accepted doesn't really apply to me in my case. My book comes out of America anyway, not England. But here's the deal. When you go outside of your culture, you get to see what it's like when you come back. Before then, you don't know because you've not got out of it. So I am seeing it now afresh, and it makes me sad to see the extent to which victim consciousness prevails here in England. It seems that everyone else is to blame for our unhappiness. We all make out that we're victims. We never stop complaining or laying blame and refuse to take responsibility for our own lives. It's always someone else's fault. It's very sad because this makes people unhappy. And what is so frustrating for me is that radical forgiveness is the answer to all of this, at least in most cases. It automatically releases us from victim consciousness and raises our vibration. It's easy, quick, and simple to do. It's a proven method that enables anyone, and I mean anyone, to clean out all that toxic emotional energy that they've stored deep down and then to heal their lives. The funny thing is, it's enthusiastically embraced by the Germans, the Poles, the Swiss, the Americans, the Russians, the Australians, New Zealand, and so on, just to name but a few. They can't get enough of it. I'm even teaching it now to business people in America and Europe as a way to increase profitability and prevent conflict in the workplace. But we English have up to now more or less ignored it, and I don't know why. I wish I knew. Perhaps as a people we just aren't ready. And maybe I just have to accept that and stop trying to change it. Why is a victim's question anyway? Acceptance is what radical forgiveness is all about, and that's what I have to learn. Loving what is, as is. But the fact remains, you cannot get to that place by denying your feelings. You need to love them just the way they are and know that they are a blessing in your life. So once again, Bernadette, thank you for writing and giving me a chance to rant and rave about this topic a little further. And thanks for you for listening.